what my favorite thing about it is that it serves dual populations. It serves, my students in terms of developing those pre-vocational skills, but it also, we keep our prices very, very, very reasonable so that it serves those students who, maybe they can't go to the fancy dress
Right.
store and get themselves a prom dress, or, they can't get to the mall necessarily.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my special guest today is Sandy Morrill. Sandy is the transition coordinator at Shelton School District, and that's in Shelton, Connecticut, which I asked her, I'm like, is that on the line up to New Haven? Because we both know that area, and sure enough, right there.
And
So
yes, it
Sandy,
is. Yes.
welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us, Sandy, a little bit about Shelton and your job at Shelton and kind of how you got to where you are.
Okay. So we're a town, relatively small town. It is considered a city, and our population is about 35,000 people. We have, we have 7 elementary schools. We have a 5-6 school, a 7-8 school, and then we have our high school. And my position, this is my 31st year in Shelton. I grew up here, so I am Shelton born and bred, and many people in this town are. It's one of those kinds of towns, and yeah. So I started out teaching. I graduated with a degree in special education and psychology, and I started out in the resource setting in the middle school, and I did that for a few years, and then I went to one of our schools in town, our grammar schools in town, elementary schools in town, that was on the lower socioeconomic end, and it has since closed down, but it was a wonderful, wonderful school. And I spent about 13 years there doing special education and resource and push-in and inclusion. And then I went and I switched gears entirely, and I did enrichment for a few years when, for gifted and talented students. I moved from that to, I thought, well, let me try general ed for a while. And I did general education in 6th grade, middle school, reading for another 12 years. And about 3 years ago, I decided to follow my special education heart. And I think those of us that teach special education know that pull and that draw that keeps us there. And I went back in a very different setting. And where I am now is I'm housed at the high school, but it is a transition program for the 18 to 22-year-old students who need that extra support an extra few years before they move on to post-secondary or whatever it is their path is going to be after
Right.
their 22nd year of school, or of life, really, their 22nd year.
So it's always different. Every state defines
Yes.
22 as different. So is it till they turn 23 in Connecticut, or is it till they turn
So
22?
So fairly recently, when I first started, so it would be about 3 years ago, they had just switched over. The year before I started, if a student turned 22 in April, they were done. And,
Okay.
they would age out in the month of April right after their 22nd birthday. And when I started, they expanded it to complete their 22nd school year. So
Gotcha.
they do get to, which to me
Finish.
makes absolute sense,
Yeah.
to finish
Yeah.
out the year.
Letting them go in November or
Or
January or
October,
whatever. Yeah.
or yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes,
Crazy. So
so
that's
that was
great.
that was definitely a good decision on the state's part. And I know the state of Connecticut is very focused right now on transition and really, um, putting districts to task in terms of making sure we are graduating and aging out our students not to the couch, but to productive, fulfilled, supported as needed, safe and happy lives. And that's kind of where that's where I come in, is to try to facilitate that for the families. That's what's great about this job is I think more than any other position I've had in the district, I work with families so much more. I know these families so well. The brothers, the sisters, the secondary supports. It's really wonderful.
Awesome. So you're helping them from basically what would have been graduation had they been in a mainstream regular class,
Right.
to finding something that they like, that they can do, that really focuses on life skills and work skills beyond education, beyond the high
Correct.
school. Yeah.
Yes. And that's a
And
PPT decision, obviously.
right.
So
Give me that acronym again.
okay, so during their annual review, their PPT within the last, say, their junior or senior year,
Mm-hmm.
they will invite me
Okay.
if this is a consideration for them.
Okay.
And I'll inform the families of the services that we provide, and then the family forms a decision together with their student and the team about whether or not the transition program will be their next step after
Gotcha.
graduation.
So PPT is like just the team? Is that the
Yep,
acronym for the team? Okay.
the planning and
Okay.
placement team. Yep.
Oh, there
So
you
that
go.
would
Thank you.
include, yep, that would include speech language, OT, PT if they're involved,
Mm-hmm.
occupational therapy, physical therapy. Although those supports do begin to fade
Yeah.
out a little bit as
Yeah.
students get older,
Mm-hmm.
but with many students, because we do have varying needs.
Mm-hmm.
The students that end up requiring transition services for whatever it is their particular needs are, it could be to access post-secondary education. So how will I apply to college? Can I audit a class with my support and with the support of the staff members? How will I fill out applications? We do a lot of mock interviewing and things like that. And then we have our students too that, their paths are different and they may end up in group settings and day programs
Mm-hmm.
where there'll be volunteering or maybe sub minimum wage employment, but productive members of society in as best as they can be.
Right. Right. And you guys have some really cool programming going on. Tell us about that.
So we do. So job sites are wonderful, and we have several. We go to a couple of hotels. So we have vans that we can access on the program, and every transition program, depending upon the funding of the district, of course, has different access and opportunities. We happen to have some drivers and job coaches, and we have vans, and we take the students out into the community as often as possible. So pretty much daily we are out in the community. We do buffet breakfast cleanups at certain hotels. We do preparatory and cleanup work at some of the banquet facilities in the area after their weekend weddings and events. We also we work at our local registrar of voters with more kind of clerical work and more repetitive tasks that certain students are definitely better at. We have a farm we go to, so we have students who prefer to be hands-on and outside, and we try to do interest inventories at the beginning of every school year, even with students that we know already, because at that age, we know that students' interests change all the time. And we're always planning and trying to access job sites that, they will be interested in. However, you run into some liability issues. You run into some, I think ever since COVID, there have been some corporations that have been less uh, open and willing to take on individuals, even though, we're fully insured and everything. We get we have to talk to corporate, and
Yeah, that
and
makes me
usually
sad. Yeah,
that's
that's a
that's
no.
that's
Yeah.
code for no.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Um, so what we decided to do is put our heads together and figure out, well, if we can't get off site all the time, every day, if we can't get every student off site, what can we do on site? And what we started is we opened up a thrift shop, and
Nice.
we just launched this week. And it has been, I I've received so much positive reinforcement about it, positive praise this from students, from staff. So basically, what we did is we spent the first half of the year finding a room, finding a space, and my administration has been absolutely phenomenal with their support in doing that. So if you think about years ago, we had those old computer rooms where students would have to go to get on a computer. They were all in one room, and these big tables kind of hammered into the screwed into the floor where the wires would be attached to the computers, and that's how you would get your technology education. And so they dismantled one of those that was located right off of our media center. And what they did is our incredible maintenance staff set up, um, a nice hanging pole in the middle of the room, dismantled and sanded down all of those tables, put up shelving for us. We, together with our administration, with my life skills teacher, who is teaches the ninth through 12th graders life skills, we went on to all the buy nothing sites we could find, and we reached out to area retail stores for racks. So we have all racks that we have in the room. And then we reached out to staff for high school appropriate clothing that the students would enjoy. And we had such a great turnout in terms of donations. And so we have a full room where we play music, and we had balloons this week, and we had this big grand opening, and we are open during the students. So there's study halls right in the media center. We're located right off the media center, and the students from the study halls are allowed to come in and sign in. So these are the regular high school students, the general ed population. And then during their lunch and their study periods, they're allowed to come in with a pass. And so there was some logistical, you don't want high school students wandering around saying they're going to the thrift shop. So there was a lot of logistical things that we had to work out. And so now we're fully staffed by the students in the transition program and in the life skills program. And it opens the door for so many different soft skills tasks for these students in terms of interacting with customers, managing money, uh, even making change. We're working on counting up to make change, next dollar up skills. We are working on the folding, the organizing, sizing, color organization. There are just umpteen. We didn't even realize how many little tasks. Oh, we need receipts filled out. Let's do this. Some things came up even just this week. Okay, so somebody doesn't have money this week. Let's make hold tickets. So then I had some of my more artistic students work on making some hold tickets where we would put items aside on hold for certain students in the general population, and they have been flocking in, and we even have prom dresses. The prom is coming up. So what my favorite thing about it is that it serves dual populations. It serves my students in terms of developing those pre-vocational skills, but it also, we keep our prices very, very, very reasonable so that it serves those students who, maybe they can't go to the fancy dress
Right.
store and get themselves a prom dress, or, they can't get to the mall necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have given our social workers vouchers. So we wanted a way to provide opportunities for students who maybe have hardships,
Right.
um, maybe are unhoused,
Mm-hmm.
maybe have had recent, tragedies in their family where a fire or something. So the social workers and the guidance counselors were given vouchers so that we didn't have to look for names. We don't want it
Right.
to
Yeah.
be
You
a
don't want to.
super, we want
Yeah.
it to be really subtle.
Right.
So the
Understood.
students have vouchers and they're able to get their items free of cost, obviously.
Wow. Wow. That's
And
so. Who knew, right? Well, God, I
it's,
think God knew. I think God knew that. It's just like, wow, just how everything comes together is so beautiful. So
it
beautiful.
really just really, so it was this idea and this, we saw this forming as the year went on, and we couldn't wait to open. And finally we did. And it has just fulfilled it surpassed all of our
Mm-hmm.
expectations, really.
Yeah.
And, we get return customers. So next week we're having our pre-spring break sale where, if you buy a certain number of, spend $5, you get one item for free. So our prices are that low. Like a
Yeah.
t-shirt is $1, long
Yeah.
sleeve shirts are $2 or $3. And the kids are walking around in our items. They're going back to class doing little fashion shows.
Ah,
And the great thing is that thrifting is actually pretty popular right now. So
yeah,
we
it
kind of
is.
came upon this at just the right time.
Yeah.
And
There's not a
it's
stigma. When you and
it's
I were growing up,
exactly
if you went to
exactly
the thrift store, it was you were poor and you didn't want to be
yeah.
seen
Oh,
dead
you're
with
wearing your
anything.
Goodwill
Yeah.
clothes,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh. Exactly. It's not that way. It's vintage now.
It's
It's vintage.
vintage,
Yeah.
and it's the kids are loving it, and
Yeah.
and and my students get to spend more time with non-disabled
Yeah.
peers.
Oh, and that's there. You cannot put a price tag on
You
that
cannot.
one. You can't get that kind of an interaction any other way than in a real setting, and that's beautiful. Love that.
Yeah.
Love
And
that.
the beautiful thing for me is I'm used to my students and going out into the community and taking them out into the community, and teaching them how to be appropriate and things like that. But the beauty of it for me is seeing the general ed population and their kindness and their patience, and they're
Hmm.
just standing there while the students using the calculator and counting out the money and bagging the clothing for them, and they're it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really been beautiful. So it's functional in that we have this job site now that we don't have to go very far to get to. It's open all the time. We're closed Mondays and Fridays for like prep day and cleanup day, but that's still
That's
offering us
work
up.
day. That's
It's
still
still
work.
work
Yeah.
days
That's
for
still
us,
work
right?
days. Yeah. Yeah.
And we have these visions. We get together with our team and we're like, let's do 10 punches in a card and you get a free item. And
Mm-hmm.
so we're really, really looking to make some really positive impact on the whole population of the school through this. So,
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. So, so what did it take? Let's go back to like not right like the beginning. Like, how did it come about that you wanted to do this, and what did it take to get to the point where it was a reality? Not necessarily done, but just a reality.
okay. So it started out with a frustration. So as things often do, it started with a hurdle, an obstacle. I can't get all of my students out at the same time. What can we do that's productive and fulfilling in a day when we aren't able to get everybody out at the same time? And okay, well, we can't do a coffee shop. There were parameters with our particular school with food and the contract we have with the cafeteria, which a lot of people run into and totally understood. And what else could we do? Well, we could make dog treats. A lot of transition programs make the pet treats, which I think is wonderful too. But we sort of felt that that one was kind of covered. We sort of felt like, well, what different thing could we do? And it just so happens that our population has a lot of food allergies, so not everybody would be able to participate in that. So, okay, what can we do? And then I would love to say we came up with this on our own, but we saw another school
Love
on the
it.
news, on the
Yeah.
news.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw, our speech language pathologist came in one day, all fired up. I saw this thing on the news and I think we can do this. So then it was the three of us, the life skills teacher, myself, and the speech language pathologist traveled to the school. We set up a time to meet with them. And we went to that school in Connecticut that does somewhat the same thing and toured their program and got some ideas from them. That was at the end of last school year.
Okay.
So we had the seed,
Right.
I would say,
Mm-hmm.
toward the end of the last school year. We came back with it. And then over the summer, it was time for where. And
Mm-hmm.
that was a bit of a hurdle because space in a school
Oh,
is,
always premium. Always premium.
yes,
Yes, I get
yes.
that. Yeah. I was under
And
the stairs as an SLP at the high
well,
school.
exactly.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
people are
I
on
totally, yeah.
carts driving around,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So,
Yep.
so there was one space that we looked at that was small, and that was going to be our space, and we were okay with it, but it just wasn't what we wanted it to be. And then our principal, um, came through. She's like, I have an idea. We have a computer room we do not use. It's right off the library media center. There's so much traffic there. It's easily accessible to the students. I think it's perfect. It's just we're going to need our maintenance crew to really get in there. And everybody just bought in. Everybody just kind of was like, absolutely, this sounds like a great idea. And it was definitely a team effort in terms of all of the stakeholders involved. And then so the space was probably took the longest in terms of making this happen. Uh, a lot of construction work and within a couple weeks, though, I would say we walked in the door from what had been this monstrosity of a computer room to this open space with shelves and hanging spaces. And then, not a week later, one of our assistant principals came in and said, and he lives in a town way far out in Connecticut, and he's on one of those buy nothing social media websites. He's like, this store is closing. They have racks. I have racks. So he's on his way to get to get all these clothing racks for us. And those came in, and it was definitely this wonderful team effort. And then the clothes started coming in, and we weren't sure how to do that at first. Who do we open this up to? How do we make sure we're not getting, I've been teaching 31 years. The high schoolers don't want my clothes. Like, how do we get the message across that we want high school appropriate clothes? So we just kind of, put it out there for the teachers, and they came through. And I mean, who doesn't really want to get rid of their kids' old clothes at this point and clean things out? So bags and bags of things. So then that was really a long process too of sorting
Yeah.
through.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
not
I
everything.
volunteered at some of those before. I totally know what
Exactly.
it's just
So
it's a pile that seems like it's never ending sometimes,
yes.
right? Occupational therapy shouldn't be one more thing on your plate. It should be a solution. Lighthouse Therapy offers school-based occupational therapy services that actually work for you and your staff. Our OTs have an average of 16 years of experience in schools, and they support everything from handwriting to fine motor to sensory integration. And you can choose from 3 different service models, whether it be virtual, hybrid, or in person. It's OT that fits your workflow without the chaos. Visit lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together to learn more.
But it ended up, it was a really fantastic learning opportunity for the students. Do you see any stains on this? Do you see, would this be something appropriate to wear, for a high school student? And then we really turned it into lessons. What season would you wear this in? And so we really incorporated the whole sorting and organizing into life skills lessons as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we happen to have a great space. We have a washer dryer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we were able to wash and dry everything. Then we had to put out the call for hangers. So and bags. So all these things would come up. And it was kind of incremental steps, like, oh great, we have all these clothes, but we need hangers now. And
right.
Oh, we're gonna put things in bags. We need bags now. So it was just kind of a call to arms of the staff. And eventually what we plan to do is open it up to the public.
That was going to be one of my questions for you. So yes, so awesome.
That will probably be not this year. This year is probably our work out the kinks year.
Understood.
And that invites some different, thought process in terms of security, hours, which students are able to stay, which staff are able to stay, what days and times, and so that's a little bit more logistical type of planning. So I think it's been helpful that we didn't rush it, that it started as this visit that we made at the end of the school year last year. And I'm very happy, in our heads we had, September, we'll open in September, it'll be great. And it organically just didn't happen that way. Yeah. But I'm thrilled with the way it happened. I think it opened at just the right time.
So for those of you that are listening, today is April 1st, 2026. So at the end of March is so you had a whole semester and a half basically of work. But still, I mean, I was thinking about that and I'm like, that's really not slow. I don't think that's slow at all when you think about launching a store and making sure that all of those pieces happen. And I'm like, I'm amazed you got it done in a year. I'll be honest with you. Less than a year, really.
Yeah, it was really altogether. It was less than a year.
Yeah.
And our woodworking group made signs. So
nice.
I mean, when I say it was really a school team effort,
A labor
that's
of love for sure, right?
absolutely no exaggeration. And the students could not be more excited about it.
Yeah,
So
I bet.
they one of them had the idea, let's have a Bluetooth speaker in there and play music.
Hmm.
So now one of them's the DJ, and they are in charge of playing the music.
You need to
And
do some aromatherapy now.
yes,
They say there's
well,
certain scents that make people want to buy, and
it
yeah,
is so funny that you say that, because it did smell like a secondhand shop.
yeah,
So it's a closed door. There's no
yeah.
real
Hmm.
ventilation, and we would open it up, and I'm like, no, this smells like people aren't going to want to shop here.
Hmm.
So we got one of those lamps that lights the candle and heats it up without lighting a candle, so that it's
Right,
not a fire hazard.
right. Hmm.
So we have this great smell now in this store
Awesome.
as well, and people have actually commented on it. So,
Nice. Yeah, that's one of the things that I always and God bless Goodwill. I don't mean to say anything bad
no,
about them, but
yes,
boy, you
but
go in a Goodwill store and
you
there is
know,
this distinct odor of a Goodwill store. There really just
yep.
is. And they do amazing things. So Goodwill, please don't be mad at me for saying that. But
No, and we have toured
it's just
there,
part of
and
it. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah,
we've
and
had
they do
great experiences.
volumes and volumes of things. So I don't know that they don't have a way to necessarily, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's amazing that you guys have you've tackled all of the big stuff. Now,
Uh,
how do you handle my next question? So now you've got revenue, right?
Yep,
So
yes.
how are you managing that piece of it?
So unfortunately, which, this is not going to be news to anybody in education right now. Budgets are tight. Uh, Special education budgets in particular are tight. And we do a lot of what we do is cooking and things that require expenditure of money. Materials. We need materials. So what we're doing with the revenue is we're taking a portion and putting it back into the thrift shop until that's pretty much satisfied. And then we are splitting it between the transition program and the life skills program, so that we can maintain the purchase of materials that will give right back to the program and lend themselves to the students' objectives of being able to gain independence in the kitchen and whatever else they need. And even community outings, it will serve to fund our community outings.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. So, one last question for you. If there
yeah.
was one thing, and it can't be money, we know that, but if there's one thing for this store or for your this whole project and what you're doing. This is a little bit of I ask this question a lot, but I'm kind of turning it a little bit because of the conversation that we've had. But if you could do one thing or have one thing not be a problem anymore when it goes to this project, what would that one thing be?
Promotion, I
Ah.
think,
Hmm.
and word of mouth. So we've started visibility, maybe. I think
Yeah.
it's maybe visibility.
Yeah, you're talking about marketing and advertising, and
Yes,
yeah, that's
that's
a big
exactly
piece
what I'm
of it.
talking
Yeah,
about. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. I
So
have a whole department that does all of that.
it is
This show is a part of our marketing department, so I
right.
totally get it. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Hmm.
we started our little Instagram account, and
Nice.
so we're
Uh-huh.
trying to, so that's what I'm hoping to do through having these little promos and sales. And we, like many high schools do, they do have weekly bulletins and news, and I'm trying to get us on there as much as possible, and just really kind of we were thinking about hosting a fashion show to really gain some visibility. So I think that's basically, I couldn't be happier with what we've accomplished so far in the week that we've had. But I think going forward, it's definitely going to be that promotional piece that will keep
So
drawing people
let's do this, and we may it may work or it may not.
in. Okay.
But I want you to give me because we break these up into bite-sized pieces. So I want this to be something that you can use as a first promo for your
Okay.
store. So
Okay.
I'm a new customer and you're going to advertise to me. Here we're going to role play, right?
Okay.
So tell me, so give me that promo. What would it be? And I know this is going to be off the cuff, but maybe it'll be golden. Who knows?
Okay.
But I want you to have the opportunity for us to take this and give this to you in a piece where it's like, okay, here's your first promo. Here's your
Okay.
first audio. Here's your first video. Who knows? And let you give us that advertisement of your show. So I'm going to hush and let you do it.
There is a hidden gem in the Shelton High School in Shelton, Connecticut called the Thrifty Gale. It is run by students with special needs who would like to sell their products to you. It is secondhand clothing that can't be beat, the prices can't be beat, and we welcome you to shop our wonderful selections. We have prom dresses, we have shoes, we have t-shirts, we have spirit wear, anything you could possibly need. You can find it at the Thrifty Gale, and all of the proceeds go back to our special needs students and their endeavors to create their vocational and lifelong paths ahead of them. And we are so excited to share our merchandise with you.
Do you have a phone number or a website
Oh,
yet?
yes. We have a phone number. You can call 203-924-3000, and that's to the high school, or you can follow us on Instagram at Shop the Thrifty Gale.
Oh, I'm just so excited. That gives me chills. That gives me chills because I know that this is something that is going to be amazing for you guys. God bless what you're doing. The kids, they win. When you do amazing things for kids like this, they win. And it's just so beautiful to see. So let's give the school a plug because we want to give them a plug as well. So where do people go? Because I know people are going to have questions for you as well. So where do people go if they want to reach the school or they want to reach you and if they have questions about what you've done?
Okay. So because the program is really just housed at the school, I would reach me specifically. So it would be the Shelton Public Schools Transition Program. And my email is S as in Sam, Morrill, Morrill, at sheltonpublicschools.org. I would be happy to answer any questions about anybody who would like to launch something like this for their own transition programs. I know in talking to people that, run transition programs, we're always looking for opportunities to get our kids really, really positive vocational opportunities and develop those skills that they need to be successful and fulfilled. So I'm happy to
Awesome.
help, happy to give tours, happy to answer any questions, whatever people need.
Awesome. Well, Sandy, oh my goodness, it has been such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for being on Brighter Together. Thank you for what you're doing for these kids. You know, it doesn't affect me so much, but it does in my heart. It's just so beautiful what you're doing. So keep
Thank
up the
you.
good
Thank you
work.
for having me, and thank you for doing what you're doing. I think every opportunity we can get our messages out and
Mm-hmm.
share ideas, the better off we all are and our students are.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Janet.